Walmart.
Somebody
figure out it.
He said, how many points does a touchdown hold? Six. Make America great again.
Nah.
That
ain't funny. That ain't funny. You're not going to wrong doing now.
You ain't seen the skit yet.
Yeah, but I'm just saying now.
Because
you know they was because they showed they were at the gas station and bought it. First they were on the other side of the car. You run for their lives, man.
Look, I did my part.
That's actually what DL said that when Snoop came out talking about how black people don't stick together. He's like, no, we did stick together. You didn't. You did your own thing.
That's what he said about Snoop?
Yeah. Snoop ain't stick with it.
I saw a video of him in 2017 talking
about that.
Which one you cool down?
I know we lying.
I'm sorry. This is what the people want to hear behind the scenes.
Talking about these last words, man. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to another episode of Above Average Black Men. Yours truly, Chris Kennedy Sr.
Chris Jr. here to empower, inspire, and uplift the community. And we got our guest here today with us. Ooh, was from dreads, had the little curly top, baby fro, now he's back fresh.
My early disclaimer is this show is not going to go as planned.
Never does.
So that's my early disclaimer right now is it's not going to plan.
It's still going to be a great show.
And we're not responsible for the contents of this show.
Y'all done got real organized. I'm just a squirrel in your bro.
I'm saying that right now. This is not going to go as planned. Anyway, so here we go, another episode. So the first topic we talk about tonight is African American history slowly being erased. Does it matter? And the point is, he's trying to take I can't even say today, Tuskegee Airmen out.
Tuskegee.
Yeah, trying to take them out, and he's trying to take away the black African American pilots.
Who trying to take this?
Trump. He wants to erase out, take out these people. See, anything that has to do with us, he's slowly trying to get rid of he's trying to get rid of this whole thing to this point where basically slavery wasn't this real thing. Like, we kind of over it. Let's forget about it. Let's move on. Everything. And Stephen A. Smith, kind of interesting. We can talk about that too later. But he even agreed with some of the stuff Trump said on Fox.
So I don't know 100% of what Trump has said, but I do know, just kind of looking at the landscape of things, that yes, they have been trying to rewrite history and remove history for quite some time now. Started down in Florida, when they removing certain books. Certain books like that they trying to take out of the schools. It's like it's all with the cause. You know what I mean? It's on them trying to remove that image of what truly happened in the past. There's some books out there right now where it doesn't say slavery. It says like servants, So it's like they're trying to change that narrative of like what really happened. But I mean, honestly, I say it's on us to really be sharing and telling these stories and not relying upon what we say is our oppressor to give us our history.
I agree with you. But then you can't it's a part of history.
Yeah.
You can't rewrite history. That's just like when the Indians weren't indentured service. You killed them off. You took their property, man. That's a part of history.
Yeah,
it's just another part of history. Is George Washington, on the Delaware. And when it comes to slavery, it's kind of funny because it's not new. Because even in the church, there were people who were saying that black people should be lucky because we would be Christians if which is not true. If we were slaves is how we learn how to be Christians. And if you fast forward, just last year, a couple Republicans came out and said that it was like job training.
Wait, what?
What was job training?
Slavery prepared us for skills and everything. I'm just telling you. It's been looked at.
Wait, black politicians?
No. White politicians came out and said it was like job training. Like we were trained to do all these different occupations through slavery.
Cotton readiness program.
Because you became blacksmiths, all this stuff through slavery. So it's been this trend. See,
but you know
it's
what?
Been slowly trying to be erased for the longest time.
That goes to the point of what we're saying. I'm trying to twist history. It's a little bit of guilt there, of course, where it's
a lot
of guilt. Where it's just like, oh man, I don't want to be seen in this light. But there's so many things that you could do to kind of not be seen in that light. You're not helping your cause right now when you are trying to, like you said, kind of erase and put our history under the rug.
But I
have a question though, because some of the debate that I hear or questions that I hear sometimes is like it's kind of this battle between like, is it African American history or is it just history, period? Like all history that's happened here is American history. So do we like,
that's a good
or do we segregate ourselves and saying African American history, or do we have a discussion where we're like, this is all our history? This is American history.
It's both, because at the time it was happening, I remember we weren't, and the Constitution hasn't changed. We're like 3/5 of a person.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time when this was going on, we weren't really considered Americans. We were property.
Yes. Yes.
We weren't considered, so we were considered property to be bought and sold. So we really didn't have the status of a human being.
Yeah, and I mean, but I guess to say that now, like, you know, that certainly there's still some things that are kind of residue.
You're gonna stand over there.
Residue from there. Residue from there, but I'm still just kind of like, you know, even now, like you hear people now. I don't know. Would you rather hear it said as history? Because it is American history.
It is.
I think we kind of get it blurred and colluded. We kind of like separate ourselves at times where it's like, hey, this is not part of America. This is African American history.
But it was called African American history because of segregation, because they weren't teaching it.
But I'm saying now we're not as segregated. So like, do we make that move to be like, this is our American history?
I know it's an ironic statement.
Because even Martin Luther King came back and said that, you know, one of his latest speeches before he died, he talked about that was probably one of his regrets.
What was that?
The fact that we still, even though they did all these laws and stuff passed, that we still weren't accepted as being equal.
Yeah, they were saying the right things,
but
wasn't doing the right thing.
And we didn't have the same resources. You know, we equal, but you in this building that's condemned, and you got the books that we gave up 5 years ago. But I think back to what we was talking about, Napoleon Hill said it. People don't know the history, do and repeat it. So I think, for instance, American history is a black man responsible for the White House. You know, and that's what people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that at all, man. They don't want to hear that we invented the cotton gin and the red light and all this other stuff we go through. They don't want to hear that, man.
So I got a question for like now. If we want to say that we're equal, when we say our history is just as much just American history than anything else. I know back in the past, like that was something that we needed to do. But I'm just saying, like now, we trying to continue to progress and move forward, like. Not removing slavery or any of those things, like, yes, those certainly happened, but it's not just African American. This is American history.
Well, I'm gonna throw the monkey wrenches. I do agree it should be American history, but I still don't think we're equal.
I know we got a long way to go with that. I still
think that's a continued fight. I said because they do look at us differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're viewed differently, and so we, you know, it's funny because I was just watching this thing upstairs before you came in. They were talking about how Jalen Hurts is viewed versus quarterbacks with the same stats. How he's a game manager.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, he just finds ways to win. And then when they put his stats up, did you know he's only second to Patrick Mahomes in wins in the same time frame?
Yeah, did not know.
Yeah, and it's crazy because his stats is not that far off from the mark. So the point is, even in sports, we view differently.
Yes.
So and people love to go in and watch us entertain. Mm-hmm. But then when we start rising above the entertainment, then it becomes a problem. So I think as far as equality, we still have a way to go. But I think it is all American history. Although you remember when the phrase was coined, it wasn't being taught. It wasn't popular. You know, it was black people learning it, white kids weren't learning it. Yeah. So now they're trying to go back to that point where they don't want this next generation of Caucasian people to know about it. So these will take it out their history books.
Because I guess I I'm in between. Like I'm all for African American history. I want it to be taught. It needs to be broadcasted and shared in all schools, but then also it's like kind of, I would like to move forward. And like, I look at other countries and when like, even just thinking about the Olympics and when countries come together, like they represent the country, like, you're German, you're Irish, it doesn't matter what your skin color is, you're a German or Russian individual. But here it's like, I don't think they go to other countries and be like, you're African German history, right? Like you got or Jewish German, like we do that here.
But they only do it with African American. There's so many shrines and so many memorials for the Holocaust all over the city of Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. You never hear anybody talk about taking out history books. You never anybody say, nobody says it was good that it happened. Nah, you don't. That's going to, and it should be. That's going to continue to be taught. There's a significant difference. You go in the center city, you see, right there off the Parkway, they got a nice park there. A memorial for for Jewish Americans or Jewish descendants. So you can't, can't have it both ways. So I think it seems like it's always our history that they want to erase. It's always our history that they want to get off the books. Now, I am a firm believer that when they start with one, they move to the next one too. I do. I don't. Racist doesn't stop when one person is there. Yeah. They don't. They just do the most convenient.
I personally think they build the playbook on one, and then they're able to kind of take that and do that to other groups of people. So
I was watching a controversial.
This is the part of the show. See the smile on his face. This is the part of the show I was talking about.
Listen, I'm about to say something real eloquent. If y'all just if your brothers get the opportunity. I'm watching a controversial social media personality educated talking about how how black folk really advance, right? This whole conversation about black advancement and erasing the history directly hinders that advancement. Obviously, reparations has been on a plate for a long time, and I really think that we ain't got the echo. I really don't think that. I think we don't. It don't matter how we view. We don't got no equity in the country. Like Native Americans were given a certain amount of equity with the land, casinos, whatever. Asian Americans, they got their foothold all in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Indians got they things. Every 7-Eleven is locked down. Dunkin' Donuts is locked down. What is our thing? We may work in the front of Popeyes, but how many Popeyes owners? I hate to even go to chicken. To go to chicken with us, but you know how many chicken spots it is right here. You got Ned News, the sides.
It's crazy.
They
popping up all over.
They got the Don Julio collab.
But the real conversation is we need to own hospitals. We need to own schools that's not funded and backed by Caucasian or MAGA America.
But that's part of the regret that Dr. Martin Luther King was talking about, because before we had this whole, assimilation, we had that. We had Black Wall Street. We had
We did.
We had black hospitals. We had black doctors.
But the thing is, it doesn't seem like we're willing to even try. Maybe because it's seeing what they did to Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah. But it doesn't seem like we, not even saying us, but all of us as a collective are willing to go in on. This is our neighborhood.
Well, we missed the plot, and it's funny. There's a book called
"This Is Our Town."
There's a book called "The $40 Million Slave," and the author talks about it. One thing he talks about was how dominant the black colleges were. So when they scrimmaged the white colleges, they crushed them. So what the white colleges started doing, they started targeting our athletes, so they can compete. And we were so happy to assimilate. We didn't realize that it was taking more and more talent out the community, and we were and I think that's happened over the years that we're so happy to assimilate that we miss what you said. We're not thinking those terms. Yeah, we rather buy the big screen. I make jokes about it, but we rather go buy the big screen TV every year, and then invest in our own community.
If we took all the money that we spent on Christmas and put it into
and Easter,
we'd have a house, a block.
Whatever.
No, I'm saying both.
Yeah,
I agree.
We spend so much money.
Well, you just mentioned it. It goes back to Snoop Dogg. And there's not a lot of unity. We did a whole show on that. There's a lot of lip service. There's not a lot of unity in our communities. Even our politicians is like, they're together until it comes down to something personal for them to gain, and then we separate. We never say what's good for the greater good. We don't. We never say let's come together and let's. I used to be in the grant committee in D.C. and the running joke was behind the scenes was, and it wasn't a joke. It was sad, but it was true. $1 million grant to come out. Caucasians would get together and apply for the whole $1 million. Us, we got 10 of us a block away, applying for like $100,000, $50,000. We never leverage. To your point, we never leverage our power. So that's why we don't have equity, because we never.
Yeah.
Just like now, if every black person said, "I'm not going to go to Walmart for a month," you don't think Walmart will reverse this DEI stuff? Well, very black person said that I'm not going to go to a Target. I go back and I talked about this last week to a group, Colin Kaepernick and Nike. I love the story. When they wanted Nike to drop Colin Kaepernick. And the CEO of Nike was, because they were, your stock gonna go down, and people were burning stuff. And he came out and said, "First, let me explain something to you. All y'all out there burning your stuff. Y'all are the number one clients.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all not out there 12 o'clock midnight buying our sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you buying your stuff off the rack.
Mm-hmm.
The people that support us, they getting that stuff out the back.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't. And they stock rose.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he knew, but most people would have been so afraid that, we just going to do it. And the other point of that is, that's the kind of leverage we have, though.
Mm-hmm.
That if we decided that we weren't going to go to Walmart, we weren't going to go, because to me, they all got out of DI so quick, they didn't want to do it in the first place.
So that
they got out so quick, man. They didn't want to do it.
With Amazon, is that true?
Everybody's
Amazon, Target, Walmart.
I've seen that with Amazon. Yeah,
they dropped it.
Which is an ironic thing about Snoop Dogg. A lot of black people mad at Snoop Dogg because he went to perform for Donald Trump, but yet you're going to work for the same racist supervisors every day for way less money.
So
I'm just saying, it's ironic.
Quick question, guys. We got a question that came in through the chat on Podbean. Shout out to Facts. I can't see. I feel like I need glasses now. I'm getting older. Quick question. Do you think what Deion Sanders did, was it for the better good? Thank you, Dad. Was it for the better good of those players who all now making money and the black ones against that?
Yeah, I mean, I give you the perfect example. There's a kid graduated from Notre Dame, and it's kind of a ha joke, but it's a good point. He says, I'm graduating from school. I need a job. He said, but by the way, I need to make 6 figures because that's what I'm making now. He says, because I'm not turning pro. But he played 4 years. That school made so much money playing in bowls and stuff. I don't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. Why should he leave broke? And everybody in the school, the school made millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. Just because he wasn't good enough to make the pro, but he was good enough to get them to bowls, to get them national championship. So I don't have a problem with that, man. I think, it needs to be, to your point, it needs to be more equity. It shouldn't be the colleges making billions of dollars, and players walking out broke. So I don't have a problem with that.
I love what Deion did. And I think
does it mean like going from Jackson State to Colorado?
And he's
just giving kids a platform.
And giving kids and allowing them to make money.
Oh, yeah.
And instead of versus, and his logic was this: when he was at Jackson State, the first time they made a bowl, he didn't know. He said he didn't know. He thought the money was going to be divided up amongst the football team. He didn't know the university kept most of the money. He was like, wait a minute. So the girls' team don't get anything. The boy, nobody.
No, that's wild.
Players sacrificing, broken legs, whatever, and they go play in a bowl, and the schools make all the money.
No, it's crazy.
So he was like, you got to change. So this, I know we got to move on to the next topic, but I think it's important that we do, to your point, history should be taught. It should be repeated. But you can't teach what you don't know, because a lot of us don't know our history.
And that's a whole nother problem.
They don't. They don't. So before I close, Devin said he don't see what was wrong with Snoop. Somebody want to talk about that before we move into the next platform?
What part?
He said he don't see what he did was wrong. That didn't get past me. I heard you.
I just don't.
I heard you.
I don't fully understand what the issue is.
With him because you contradicted yourself.
Because how he was talking.
Yeah, he said, which one of you coons gonna go perform for Snoop? I mean, perform for Trump. I forgot. Who won't be the first?
In that regard, then I do.
But I say this too, and we move to the next subject. It's not just that you can't be pro-black. And then the first time something happens, you get a chance to possibly make some bucks. Yeah, you can't. It's been different if he was like that all along. Nah, you pro-black and you say, and then the first time you get a chance, and then what made it worse was when they showed the video, all the old white folk weren't even enjoying it. They were talking, getting stuff in the bar. He back there jamming. They walk around like,
we got one to tap dance for
the Olympics champion, man. He thought it was international.
So anyway, our next topic. We move on to our next topic.
I get it.
Our next topic is, and this is, I know this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be interesting. We will talk about a few successful dating tips.
Oh, Lord.
I know it. A few successful dating tips. Keep it clean.
Should we start with you?
A few successful dating tips.
You're the single one. Go ahead, young blood.
No, but y'all did.
I
mean, I'll get it. I think dating should be like a job interview. I do. I think you should be asking questions like it's a job interview. I counsel a lot of guys, and married and
how old are you?
Age has nothing to do. Age has nothing to do with it because people don't. People are
going another direction.
People are getting involved in relationships not knowing what's going on. That's not about age. That's about being smart.
But
that's about finding out.
No, we got apps. We got apps now.
It's a mindset for people.
I'm saying that's the job.
It's like It's a whole different game now.
What's different? So why wouldn't you ask questions? That should never
different?
change. That should never change.
These people don't know how to have a whole conversation.
But that's fine. But you need to find it out before you get married, before you get in a serious relationship.
People don't ask the right questions.
That's my point. Yeah, but that's why I said you need to ask questions.
Don't even want to get married no more. That's not.
That's why you need that. But that's why you need to ask the question, because there's a lot of people. Whatever you think the question is, that's why you need to ask the question. I know somebody right now who's going through a similar situation, because when they first started dating, they both talked about having kids, and now he don't want to have kids. Well, you in this thing, so and they never really had an in-depth conversation about it. Or people in long-term relationships. Well, I never said I was going to get married. You need those conversations. I don't care how old you are. There's certain questions you need to find out before you get.
I agree with those things, but I'm just telling you right now, dating it's a junkyard out there.
No matter how you look at it,
I hear you.
Seeing somebody,
people need counseling. People need.
I agree.
A whole bunch of other things.
I agree.
Before it even
but
gets
too many people are getting into these relationships and not asking, to Devin's point, not asking the right questions.
But I would even get before that. People don't even understand like why you're even getting in a relationship, what you're doing it for.
That's why you got to ask the questions to find out.
Let's keep it 100. Single people, y'all cooked. There's no hope for y'all.
I'm just saying you got.
Now let's talk about dating within the relationship. If you lucky enough to get into the relationship, how are we dating within a relationship?
Okay, fire away.
How you dating into a relationship?
It's the same thing. You still got to get to know the person. I think too many people. There's one who sits down and counsel couples. For instance, one of the first questions I would ask is, "What's your definition of love?" You got somebody says love is to death do us part, and somebody says to the money get funny. That people got definition of love is so different now.
You gotta teach us how to date though. This is too high level. Dating for dummies. Dating for dummies. Do you come home and sex with the guy? What are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to keep it, man? Look, it's a lot of options out here.
But this goes back to is a different set of questions. But you gotta know, like if you expecting to marry somebody and you expecting your food to be ready, that needs to be in discussion. If you expect to come home in a house a certain way, that needs to be talked about.
You expect your food to be ready when you get home?
When I first got married, now it's a different thing. I'm older, I'm mature. We grew up together.
It's not even a lot of women out here that even.
But I'm saying, but this is the stuff you need to know. If something is important to you, and I tell you all the time, if something is really important to you, you can't be sacrificed on it, because eventually it's going to start to get on your nerves. That's just you dating somebody and you think, okay, they're going to change because you want them to change. No. You got to find out what the real deal is, because to your point, some people don't know how to be in a relationship.
You know what? The pool of people that honestly are trash.
Well, but see, we're not talking. We passed that point because Justin said.
I said people.
Yeah, but no, we passed that point because Justin said you're in a relationship now. So we passed the point about.
What's the last date you went on? And I know you be going on.
I date my wife every week, man.
What's the last one?
Last Thursday.
And what did you do to make it go successful or unsuccessful? We don't know. Because I ain't see her when I came in here.
we go once a week. Well, we together anyway, but we date once a week. We go out, we have a conversation. We don't talk about bills. We go to different places, but we're not talking about bills. We're not talking about, our kids are grown, so we're not talking about the kids.
I hate when my wife talks about the kids.
That's my point. But see, that's the conversation because we had to learn it.
The kids, I think, I don't want to see that.
We're going to see them later.
I smacked the phone.
But that's what I'm talking about, though. That's the kind of stuff you need to do. And we established a date night because I'm busy doing different things, and we do. It's not always what I want to do. It's not always what she wants to do. Sometimes we just stay home and chill.
Yeah.
But we both agree.
I had one of those.
But yeah, you gotta find what works for you. But you can't. If you, for instance, if you think you want to hang out and they still want to go to the club, that's a problem. Or perfect example.
Mindset.
She knows exactly what you're trying to do. So you can't be with somebody that says, I know you want to do that, but you got to be home every night. You got to be, that don't work. So that's the stuff you got to find out, man. Or somebody just hanging on just in case you make it. You want somebody to believe you won't make it, right?
From the rip.
So these are conversations you got to have, man, and I think, I don't know because I don't talk to them.
You still going to be there?
I think that's why, but I think that's why you see a lot of stars make it and they break up because some people ain't there for the right reason.
Yeah.
So I think those are conversations need to be. Yeah, you need to go out once in a while. You need to just have some me time, just the two of you. Talk about different things, not just talk about the job. Talk about family. Talk about friends. Don't be bringing your friends into your conversation in your relationships. You got to keep it totally separate. Those are things you got to do. Keep it fresh. Now I'm old school here, so I still bring my wife flowers home, man. I still bring her flowers home,
and that's what she likes.
I still, yeah,
she likes stuff like that.
Yeah. You got to keep it fresh. And there's different things, but you can't be like me. I believe you have some quiet time. Everything can be out amongst 1,000 people. And we came to see your show. Yeah. That was something different for us. You know, we had a great time. So you got to try different things.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it means doing stuff I don't want to do. Like, I hate the mall. I hate the mall with a passion, man. But my wife will go to the mall and we'll go in one store and see something, and we go to 15 stores and come back to get it from that first store. That drives me crazy. But you know what? That's her thing.
Yeah. I want to say to the dating community too,
compromise,
because we ain't out here in these streets. I'm married, you know, I got a girl. Devin's
street
sweeper.
There's
a street sweeper. No, but I want to, you know, I don't know if it's just a social media trend or something like that, but when a whole list, you can't take a lady here or there. Right? First of all,
that's what I'm talking about with the secrets. When we talking about dating, I was like,
but I think dates should be based around who you really are. If you like hockey and you want to date this chick, don't be scared that she ain't gonna like hockey. Because if you take her to a hockey game and she not having a good time, even if she don't like hockey, you know she not for you.
But if
she go there and she don't like hockey, but she found someone like hockey, y'all might find
work. Yeah, but see, that's a good tip because how many people fake it?
Yeah,
like just to get into a relationship, then all of a sudden they say, "Well, I never like that in the first place." Yeah, so I think you got to have those conversations, man, and it should be somebody that you can share your dreams with. Even if they don't understand, like if you come to me and says, you know, yo, I want to do this, even though I don't understand, you know what, I got your back.
I ain't been on a first date in so long. Devin, what is it like out here, man?
Actually, ironically, I was just on the first date.
How did you plan for this?
A bunch of first dates.
It was a spur of the moment. That sounds crazy when you say
it's spur of the moment.
That's how they should be.
Spur of the moment kind of thing. Where did we go? We went to El Poquito. It's a Mexican restaurant.
That's always a good show. Nice Margaritas. I see you young blood. Margaritas.
No, this is
Oh yeah. El Poquito. El Poquito. Okay, that's not bad.
El Poquito. All right.
But yeah, around same thing. We just ask questions. See, I'm one of the people. I like to ask a lot of questions about her, so she'll talk a lot, and I can just kind of sit there and just find out.
But there's another flip. What's the other side of it is now, you know, and if you're sincere or not, at least you've shown interest in her. Yeah. Versus sitting there talking about yourself all the time. See, that's a good way to do it, man. Yo, I'm interested in you. And you're interested for selfish reasons because I want to find out if it's going to be a date number 2. I want to know. Yeah. Are we going to do this again? I talk to so many people and no one complain as well. That's not who they were when we first met. To Justin's point, you know, whether it's hockey, whether it's soccer, that's not, you know. And I think you have to have conversations on whether, and we're talking about once you get in the stage, you do, especially if you're going to spend money and time with somebody, you need to know who you're hanging out with. And another thing is, if you're getting serious, you need to check out their family because you're getting involved in the family.
You know, part of the problem is like, not even just dating, but we talking about dating, everything's so transactional.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Devin runs into this. Chicks expecting
transactional
to pay for their hair, nails, makeup before. And any good woman not going to do that, right? Any woman with half sense not going to do that. But it's not a lot of sense out there.
Well, I think because this is, I think social media.
How do we take the transaction out of our everyday interactions? I think that's
you got to set the standard. You have to set the standard.
You're like, he weird.
I'd rather be weird and be happy than be stuck. Because I'm like you. First of all, if we go on the first date, unless you treat me, you ain't gonna be sitting telling me when you're not going. That would be a major turn off. Yeah. You give me a list of places. And honestly, somebody in the group is your first date should be at a place that's minimum. You shouldn't be going to Ruth Chris Steakhouse or the top of the line your first date. Yeah, because you got to make sure you're compatible. Mm-hmm. But I think, and to me, anybody that comes out to shoot and says that, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack about it, you know, I'm crossing you off my list because you went to the money. You ain't into me. Exactly. You went to where I'm gonna take you.
He got a long list. Exactly. Like a CVS receipt.
I'm just saying. You think about that. We just meet and you tell me we're not going here. We're not going here. We're not going here.
Well, it's a long life, man. At some point in time, we're gonna eat at Applebee's. Like, there's no way.
Mm-hmm. Golden Corral.
We're gonna hit that up. Like, what are you talking about?
You know what? Your mom and I, we go to Applebee's, get a grub, sit there, you know, get a glass of wine, just chill. You know, and then, you know, we go to the finer places too. You know,
mix it up.
Go to Eddie V's for Valentine's Day. Been to Sullivan's, been to all those places.
If you like the person, it don't matter where you with them at.
You're gonna have a time.
I agree 100%.
Whether it's the crib, Applebee's, or Ruth Chris.
But Chris had a good point. I think the problem now is people don't take time to get to know people to find out if they like him or not. They get into, like you said, no dating. You hop right into a relationship because she look good or you look good, and there's no digging
He
deeper.
got money. He got
people moving in. People moving in like 2 months. They moved. It's crazy how stuff is sped up now. It's nuts.
It's really like that out here, but that's because I think some people try to rush past the dating stage.
You got to date, man. Y'all say I'm old. You got a court. Back in the day, folks did back in the day, they called it court.
So we were courting. Right?
Back in the day, you were courting, man. You took them out. You got to know them, man. You asked questions, man. You spent time with them, and you did different things, man.
And my fresh crease britches.
You gotta do, man. Y'all laughing, but that's why I've been married 40 years. Because you court, you gotta do things. I think now people, everything is so fast now. Everything is so fast, even in relationships. And to your point, either not getting married or this whole no fault divorce, which is always somebody's fault, which is crazy. It's so easy to get out of it now. So people, I've sat down when people say, "Well, if it don't work, I'm getting out." Nah. And I've sat down with people who carry secrets into the wedding that's not coming out. I sat down with one couple. And
this sounds like a Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah. It does. Because if you're dating somebody and they got some scars, some issues in their family, and you don't know, that's going to come out in your relationship. You don't even know what she's mad about.
Yeah.
So that stuff, trauma is real, and a lot of relationships don't make it because everybody hiding stuff when they bring it in because nobody want to talk about it.
But to play devil's advocate, is the person that's hiding something within reason, that could be whatever it is that good not to divulge? Because like real rap, that person not gonna be with you if you say X.
I'm not
but
saying
if they get to
date.
know you.
I'm not saying.
We're talking about dating.
When you start moving to, and I meant people married. If you're going to marry somebody, then there needs to be a level of transparency. There needs to be a level of transparency. Now, if it's like you said, they're not trying to get married, but even if you want to, I don't condone it. But if you want to live with somebody, there needs to be a level of transparency. You need to know, like for instance, if she had a history and her father cheated all the time, you think she gonna trust you? That's a problem. Mm-hmm. You don't know. You don't know none of that stuff. You just know every time you go to the bathroom, where you going? Give me your phone. You got a tracker on stuff. Yeah. Or if she's watched abuse or something and you raise it, she flinching. All that stuff matters in a relationship. A couple I was talking to, and it was deep because they weren't having intimacy, and coming to find out when she was younger, she was molested. She never told him that. Now in a marriage, they trying to figure out, that kind of stuff. You got to have conversations, and I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming, but you people got to know what your baggage is. People should know what your baggage is.
Yeah, so somebody could better handle that.
Yeah, and because when we say stuff, I always get in trouble for this. Oh yeah, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Every woman ain't a wife. And people need to understand that. That's a nice scripture. I love it. But every woman, just like every man, is not meant to be a husband.
Exactly.
That's not what he's saying with that point, right? With that saying.
No, but people say it like that. People say it like that because they don't pay attention. They think, because I got a woman, she's going to be a good wife. That's not what
so every woman who becomes a wife is not actually a good wife.
Yeah, it's not a good wife. Because everybody ain't wife material. Everybody just think everybody husband material. So I think there's certain things that I think when you talking about when you get into relationships and dating that needs to be discussed. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying the first date, but if I'm talking, like for instance, it's a dude, I can't think of his name. He got 6 kids by 6 different women. They're all pregnant at the same time. That's something you need to say. I
was about to just start naming like 6 different Africans.
Yeah, I know.
But those are conversations. I think, and that's why people get married. Relationships don't last because you get married and you bring all these secrets into the relationship, or you don't take time to get to know somebody. You need to know if somebody's violent. Hey, if you don't like snoring, you need to find out. That's all them kind of stuff. Medical history. That's stuff you need to know.
You know what it is? Just like kind of Justin mentioned this earlier with dating. Like it's definitely, and like I said, it's just very surface level. I think Instagram and social media has very much kind of clouded, what the idea of or what a relationship actually is or should look like. Because you just constantly are hearing so many different crazy things. And I know you say this a lot. I mean, I'll say people are spending a lot of their lives online.
Well,
just like get off online. So people are addicted to
that fentanyl.
But you got to know what's reality and what's not. Mm-hmm. I agree with everything you both said. But you got to know if social media is running your relationship, you got an issue. Because 2/3 of people on social media is lying, and the other third is probably faking it. So you listen to this, and you have to figure out. For instance,
So
my relationship is my relationship. My relationship is my relationship. I wouldn't go to somebody and say, make your relationship just like my relationship. You can't do that. So it's the same thing with social media. You're looking, what might work for Justin and Megan is not going to work for everybody else. Everybody's not give and take like that. What might work for you? So I think, that's why you can't go to social media, man. I mean, you got to kind of figure it out.
Yeah, well, we passed the point where people can just realize, most people that got social media problems don't know they got social media problems.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
Like it's such an integrated part of our
life. It's like a drug. I can quit anytime.
Yeah,
I can quit anytime.
Before you done work that thumb 6 times.
Yeah.
Like before you know it, you done scrolled up, and you done internalize some of this information that you're not even realizing that you spew on. I'm talking from experience.
No, but that's part of I'm agreeing with you, but that's part of the problem because there's less talking. You go out to dinner and you see people at the dinner table. They ain't talking to each other.
Yeah, no.
I do agree with you, but that's the problem. There's the communication is
in the social media age.
And I guess you text across the table.
That's actually a
hey, what do you think about this? You don't talk, you just text. I don't know.
It's like, how do you date in this
Put your phone down. We gonna have this time. We're not gonna have our phone.
I dare say our generation more faithful than your generation.
I don't know how you measure that. I don't know.
I'll tell you
I don't know how you measure that. I don't know.
Y'all didn't have no checks or no balances. It wasn't no Instagram or Snapchat.
What they got to do with it?
Yo, his girl know his location right now. He's air tagged. Okay, y'all just go willy-nilly, town to town, family to family. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Charles is getting it done.
I don't know.
Papa was a Rolling Stone came out.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah,
yeah,
but I just think it goes back to communication. So I'm not disagreeing with the English. I think social media is ruining the world, but that's when you got to say, yo, put your phone down. You out with somebody, okay, for this next 30 minutes, we're not going to have our phone.
I like
we're just going to talk.
I think, you know what's messed up? This is how it's going to get fixed. It's going to become a fad or a trend. Drop the social media and it'd be like social media buckets where you got to pay for a bucket. You got to pay to put your phone in the bucket.
Yeah.
Just so you can really get to know people, because we are losing that.
That's a good idea.
It'll become a fad or a trend.
You might have stumbled on something, man. Yo, have a restaurant and say, you might have stumbled on something.
Get to know your partner.
It's an app where
happy hour. Don't happy hour.
Yeah, I like that.
But I think those are things. But I think date. That's and part of it is like you said. People don't date. People don't take time to get to know people. You go from one stage to the next, man, and you should. To me, there's certain things you need to know.
You want to know because it's this false thing out here where people believe that they always have options to do better. I think that's where it's
the first part is right. You always got options. But do better is right.
That's the best.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. You got to define better.
They always think they have an option to do better, and then sometimes they don't even think about that. Like, I don't know, sometimes where they are, they just need to work where they are. People are so quick to give up and try to move on to the next
I agree.
thing.
I agree. But I think part of the problem is why people give up because you got people out there who put up with it. And you don't ask questions. Like if I'm dating, if I'm dating, we talking, man, and every night, every time we get together, you talk about you date a different dude. I need to do some homework. There's a reason why you date all them dudes ain't work out. Is it you, to your point? Or if you think you're going to do better, how I know that ain't going to happen to me one day? You ain't look at me one day and say, I see Justin. So I think, again, conversation.
Damn.
And you got to go. It's just like.
You're going to go on a ride online and just start looking at some videos.
But Justin said once you get into a relationship.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So we passed the trash stage. We passed all this stuff.
No, I'm just saying.
And so I think you have to have some kind of.
I'm saying this is the mindset of people that are in relationships.
But that's why you ask questions, though. You don't want to find out one day when it's happening.
That's just unfortunate. Like, even just looking at the divorce rate, it's kind of high. It's high for a reason.
It's high because if you talk why people get divorced, because there's no, just like people says money, is the number one reason for divorce. It's not money, it's how you handle money and how you view money that creates the problem. That's because nobody talks about it. You get married, nobody sits down and says, okay, well, if we get $1 million, this we're going to do. You may say if I got $1 million, I'm going to invest it. Well, no, I'm going to buy me a Beamer, man. We're going to buy the big house, man. That's the kind of conversation you got to have. You can't say you're going to earn it and they're going to burn it. You got to have those conversations, man. It can't be, figuring out as you go along, because I don't care who you are. At some point, it's going to get to a point where it's really starting to get on your nerves, man.
I'll be like in the old sayings, like when it comes, and this applies to relationship too. And one of them sayings is, wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, that's
You know what that
perfectly
means?
said.
Like, you know,
Yep.
if you think you're going to do better in another state, no, you're going to go to the same state.
Take
And
the
have
same crap with you. Yep. I say the same thing.
So really, I think if you want a better woman, a better man, be good to
better.
the woman or man that you with.
Yeah, I agree.
Be better.
You know what I'm saying? They might change, or you might get somebody better. Like you never know.
Be better.
I agree.
Yeah,
So
but
anyway.
that accountability is a widespread problem, and it's genderless, it's ageless, it's raceless. To really sit down and do the work is tough for a lot of us.
So now we're going to try the next topic. The gong has sound.
The what?
The gong.
Gong.
We talked about a little bit. A lot of corporations are getting rid of DEI. A lot, Target, Walmart, and they didn't waste any time. Like soon Trump got off, like, choo, people were cutting it. They dropped it right away, man. So what's your take on it?
Let me drop something on this because I've been watching Educated.
He keeps saying
no,
that.
no, I want to say his name.
Educated,
brother. Did y'all know? And somebody fact check me on this while I'm saying this. You know the DEI helps white women first, Latinos second, Asians third. Black people are the last list when it comes to DEI. Now, I don't know this to 100% be true. I'm willing to be fact checked on that. But if that's the case, is the getting rid of it that big of a deal? I don't like. First of all, I don't like the gesture of it. Like, first of all, my first hearing it is I don't like it. But they did away with affirmative action, and they made affirmative action more palpable for all the other minorities. And I'm putting that in quotations because there's one minority who hasn't got its just due in this country or world.
I can say this: that wasn't the intent. But
what,
to your point,
the DI?
Yeah, it wasn't the intent, but you know how it is. People figure stuff out. And this goes back to when Martin Luther King decided, we want to be together. He never thought about they weren't going to never let us be equal. He just assumed we're going to go win this court case and the law is going to say we're equal. He never thought about it. So I think it's the same thing with DEI. It was originally, the purpose behind it was to create equity, to your point, to give African Americans an opportunity. But I do agree with you on this. I think language has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I heard
so when you just say minorities, that does include anybody that's outside the norm. And so if I decide so that does change a little bit. So I'm not disagreeing with you there. But it was put in place for a reason, though. So it wasn't like, because it was needed, and it's still needed. So I do agree with you. It kind of got tweaked and skewed, and and it did, and it serves all minorities now. But and this is again the intent behind getting rid of it. They're not talking about them; they talking about us.
I know. I know.
They're not thinking like you're thinking. That is all these different races, ethnicities, non-white. They're thinking, okay, like Kamala Harris, DI. They're thinking in terms of just minorities. That's what they're thinking of.
Well, DEI is a new N word for them.
It is. I agree. Again, this is how
I got some DEIs over there.
but Justin, you're right. That's how I got twisted.
That's crazy, man.
And that's
wow.
They're smart enough to realize if I use certain things in a certain way, people will agree with it. People will agree with it, and so people agree because it's directed at us.
It's crazy. It's wild. It's disgusting. Honestly, I'm disgusted with this country.
Well, because you still got a bunch of people who think it doesn't matter, who think race doesn't matter, who think you still got people who say that.
It's just the irony in it that to think that we had to put this program in place to give overqualified African Americans or other minorities just to get the opportunity because there were so many mediocre white men doing all these jobs.
Yeah.
When we talk about the inventions. The George Washington Carvers, the street light, the GPS, the things that we use every single day. Mm-hmm. We clearly more than overqualified and educated to do anything that this country needed. Mm-hmm. And back to your point, African American history is essentially American history.
It is.
We built this brick by brick.
We did, but it goes back. But it's still in everything. If you look at sports, it's still just think about it. I had this conversation with Caucasian brother. You remember not too long ago when they said blacks couldn't play quarterback.
Oh yeah, there's still a lot of that.
When they talked about Randall Cunningham, like they're never going to be able to play. They're never going to win a championship with a quarterback like that. Now everybody want one.
Yeah.
So, but that's one to your point. That's the realization of the country we live in. Two, there's never been a set down, heartfelt discussion around it. To acknowledge it even exists. Most people will tell you it doesn't exist. NFL has a Rooney Rule where you got to interview a black person, not hire. So that rule makes no sense.
All right, so
it makes no sense.
To go in line with the whole conversation
sense.
about DEI and businesses actually doing it in the first place, and them cutting it so fast, it's for show.
Yeah, it's for show.
It was for show. It was never really anything that they wanted to put in place of substance to help us. It was cool to put up there and be like, yeah, DEI, more sales. Oh yeah, come on into our store. Like, we hiring y'all. But then what they ultimately really was about was its bottom line.
Yeah, that'd be like George Zimmerman wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt.
But this goes back.
For show.
But this goes back to some of our earlier conversations. That's on us because we got to hold folk accountable. If I'm somewhere, this goes back to you talked about earlier about people who work for. If I'm somewhere and they say we DEI, but I still see no African Americans getting that, I gotta speak up. I still see nobody getting a fair shot. I still see us not getting a shot. I gotta speak up. There gotta be some accountability. Like now, try to tell folk don't go to Walmart now. Man, they think you crazy. Forget what's going on. Try to tell them don't go to Target. I said this before.
But that's why they was able to cut it so fast.
Yeah, because
they knew you still gonna go.
But that's my point. There has to be some accountability. As long as there's no accountability, I used to work for a Caucasian guy, and he said this all the time. He said they used to say this to me. He said, let me tell you. He said, let me tell you something about y'all. Because he used to be a racist. He not anymore, but he still has his vocabulary sometimes speaks like that. He said, let me tell you about that. He says, y'all get out there and march, and we let y'all march because 90 days later y'all forget all about it. And I never forgot that.
Now the time is short.
And I never forgot that. 90 days later, it's business as usual.
White stuff.
But he was right. He was right. There's no accountability in there. We move on to the next thing. We move on to the next thing.
Right in the chest.
We move on to the next thing.
So I'm gonna ask y'all this for a black man above average. Who would you say, person by person, is our best leader? That the guy who would say, because I think one of our issues, we don't know what to ask for as a people.
I agree.
We all want different things. We should all be militant in that. When we say, what do black people want? It should be rattled off like a program.
These are the things that we need.
I agree.
Equality,
education.
I agree.
Boom, boom, boom. Like, I mean, yeah. So who would you say our black leader is? Like our best black leader? If they said, hey, this is what we're going to do, and everybody would do in power.
I'm going to be a little different on this one. I don't think that person has come yet. I think that's something that could come down the line. They probably weren't born yet, or they're maybe the only age of 5 and is just starting to learn, but I don't think that person has really come to unify or galvanize the people in the way that we're talking about.
I like the answer.
Me too.
I was going to say Obama.
I was going to say Obama too.
I was going to say Obama too.
He's the closest thing we got.
Closest thing I could think of that has a voice, like that where people, it crosses over on any side and like people would listen to him at least. Like
if Obama
a galvanizing voice, like you.
If Obama started wearing a dashiki, he could get everybody.
I guarantee we got something in here that say Obama. I'm looking at a t-shirt right now. Yeah, every black household got something that say Obama in it. Every good black household.
What about you?
I agree with that. I think
he ain't came yet.
The sad part about it is there's even some who won't follow Obama because they'll say he's not black enough. It has nothing to do with what he's asking for or what he's saying. And then I just think there's a group of people who follow Denzel Washington. If Denzel Washington got I'm just saying though. I mean, look at how many people. This is the funniest thing. I say this not in a joking way, but I say it because it's the most ironic thing. The last thing that galvanized black people, other than Obama, was what?
Training Day?
No, Black Panther.
Oh yeah, that's true.
All of a sudden, everybody walking around talking about everybody was kind of everywhere you went, even little white kids. That movie, black people, right. They were so into that.
Impact was crazy.
That's movie.
We need to challenge that.
But I'm saying that movie galvanized all of a sudden black folk walking down the street, man.
Cry.
Yeah, they were like, everybody,
it was white folks showing up in dashiki.
Yeah, little stores. They never,
buying
even the commercial. You got the commercial of the white girls in the store, man, and what are you looking for? And she gets the princess thing. I mean, that movie galvanized. But that goes to show you, man, there's a large void of effective leadership that it took a movie It took a movie.
2016 to 2020 was an interesting time.
But I'm just saying, it took a movie, man. That movie galvanized black people more than anything else.
You're right about that.
More than anything else.
To me, that just shows that we can galvanize and we're dying for it. Like we are.
I agree.
For something.
I think the movie was just an excuse for us to be proud.
Right.
But it did though. But it
No, I agree.
I agree.
I'm not taking nothing from it.
That movie, man, yo,
I didn't expect that.
People still walking around talking about.
I go to Prime right now thinking about it.
Yeah.
Trying to check my
See
list.
how we invented that? See how we invented that stuff?
The vibranium.
They can't even wait till it comes. You had the real revolutionary guys. So yeah, that was old Egypt. That was old Ethiopia. I mean, and so now,
it got all the different black people.
And now people can't wait for the next one to come out. They're arguing whether Will Smith should be in or this person should be in. So I mean, that movie, but that showed you the lack of the void of effective leadership. That it took a cinematic thing to turn. Let me say this one thing. It's funny because I never thought I would hear this, and you would get a kick out of this. It was a bunch of white comedians, and they were saying one of the that what impacted them most, about civil rights and what was going on was Richard Pryor.
Mm.
Even when it came to religion, and they would say how he would say stuff, and everybody knew it wasn't really a joke. Mm-hmm. But it was a joke.
Yep.
He would put it across like it was a joke.
Yeah.
He said, and people would be crying because he would start talking about things. He had the ability to get in front of an audience and tell jokes, but it wasn't really a joke. He was like pricking people's conscience, man. So I think we don't have that now. And I use him as a perfect example because whether you liked him and Red Fox and those guys, they stuck to the script. They didn't sell out. Mm-hmm. They didn't sell out, and I think now you got people who, I'm not picking on like Snoop and Nelly, they sell out.
I mean, people would say Richard sold out. He did marry a white woman.
But I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't.
You cannot sleep white and talk black, brother. That's what they say.
But I wouldn't say.
That's what an educated black man would say.
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say. I mean, I wouldn't say. Now, to me, that's not a sellout. And I know people disagree.
I don't think he's a sellout. I'm just saying without
if you stop talking about the issues because of that, then you sold out.
Agree.
But if you stand for something, I don't have an issue with that. And that's your personal, who you love. That's none of my business. But we don't have that now. We got people like I cringe every time Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton is not my leader. Mm. He ain't even in touch with this generation.
But they put the same people in front of him.
Yeah, well,
who white folks leader?
He in office.
It's Matthew McConaughey or Trump. Depending on where you fall, Matthew McConaughey or Trump.
And this is the thing. Trump figured out one thing. That we live in a generation, man, through social media, that they follow charismatic people. You can be dumb as a bag of rocks.
Your charisma.
You can be dumb as a bag of rocks, man.
That charisma is important.
And you can say what you want to say, but he knows what to say, what cause to strike, and he
knows that. He knows that. And like you said, uneducated people, you can get riled up.
Black people riled for.
But not all uneducated people. And I'm not against them, so I know you're going to hear about this, but who cares?
I'm just saying
Stephen A. Smith was on Fox. This is the perfect example. And they were talking to him, and they asked him the question when Trump said black people voted for him because they could relate to him being a criminal. And Stephen A. Smith agreed with him. So now he's kind of walking back now. I ain't never been no criminal. I can't relate to dude.
See, and that's a part of the problem. What the Black Panther gave us was a story that we can all be proud of. Mm-hmm. Our story has traditionally been pain, criminalization, dehumanization. It's always been something foul or nasty or dark. And obviously, Black Panther in a fictional way, really based on our truth, the truth of us, was based on that's our story. It's our story. So and then our confidence as a people, I believe, is so low.
And then we take it to another tilt. I had a video.
We definitely the swaggiest.
I had a video that somebody gave me at the game, right? And he was pulling for the Eagles on Sunday. Mm. It was whoever did it was well done. And I had a dream that Saquon was going. It was like I had a dream. I had a dream that Saquon's going to run all over, the Commanders, and so technology, man. So everybody's laughing, and one person chimes in. That's disrespectful. That's my point. I mean, so that's disrespectful, but you ain't talking about anything else that's going on. You're not. I didn't hear you talk about George Floyd. You're not talking about no other social issues. So we target the wrong stuff. And again, we target why because
your black person said that's disrespectful.
Everybody was laughing and joking in the chat group. Everybody thought it was funny, man.
Yeah.
You know, and that, come on, and I can name his speeches. Dude probably couldn't name 2 of his speeches.
Yeah.
But we do stuff like that, but we don't rally around this stuff. Like people can go, okay, yeah, Justin, he cursing this thing because people will see that.
Yeah.
You know, but
we do ride for the wrong stuff.
But just like Richard Pryor, you can say what you want to say about Richard Pryor, but he was one of the loudest voices for the black community.
Yeah.
You can talk. Maybe you didn't like his delivery, maybe you didn't like it, but he did. Same thing with the Black Panthers. We allowed history to repaint or distort the image. They had after school programs. They were giving out food, but history came out and said this. So you got black people saying the same thing. Oh man, they were the first terrorists. They weren't.
I do think we just ride for the wrong things. Like we ride for things that don't necessarily benefit us as a collective. Like even when I be hearing some black people talking about, the economy, that don't benefit us. Like that is beneficial to.
Well, we repeat. Like I was
outside of us.
I was talking some other day, so they disappointed because they black and they voted for Trump. You know, anybody that understands economics and the president has nothing to do with the price of groceries. There's so many layers. Just like that's why they can't get a price on gas. There's so many layers to that. You know. He doesn't control that.
Or even the idea of taxes, like him taxing other countries, that gets passed down to us as a consumer.
Other people they don't believe that though, because Trump said that's not true.
Oh man, we doomed, man.
I'm just saying, Trump said it's not true. I've heard people. I got into a discussion with a black guy about that. The same thing because we were joking about a video.
Find George, find it.
We were joking about a video because there was this video of this young black guy was interviewing people. So he was talking to this dude who was small business, and he was a Trump guy. So in the video it was hilarious because the guy had no idea anything. He says, well, what do you like about Trump? Because he's going to put a tariff on who? He's going to tariff some other companies, man. And, and so we're going to be more competitive. So the guy said, wait a minute, who do you buy your stuff from? He says, well, I get it from, it comes from Japan. So he says, well, if he put a tariff, don't you think they're going to raise the cost of you? Oh, no, that's not what a tariff is.
Intellectualism is not leading the way. It's emotion.
But it works because he tapped into that vein.
It's emotion.
He tapped into that vein. So you can see which one he was smart enough to tap into that vein. Or people, you talked about 7-Elevens. People on say Trump ain't talking about you. You did. I'm just saying Trump when he talking about billionaires, he ain't talking about guys who own 7-Elevens.
Yeah.
But you can't tell them a hot dog stand. You can't tell them they're not including that number though.
No. You cannot.
How long he would have been in office? 2 weeks?
Yeah, it seemed like that.
He did a lot.
Clear house, bro. There ain't gonna be a taco left come February, bro.
They fired. So the point I'm making is, but this is why. To me, this is why. To your point, and I agree with you. When I see companies jettison this quickly, they didn't care. It was just something they put in, and now how we react is different. Yep. Like to me, I used to like Walmart, man. I ain't spending no money in Walmart, man.
We need a black Walmart now.
But this goes back to what you said. But
the customer service better be good.
But the question is, that's the question though. Can we support it? That's the problem because there's people. We grew up when you grew up, Eastburn Avenue. Mm-hmm. There was an African American store in the corner, Chinese store in the corner. Same 2 stores, right? They were still from the African American dude. So he had to hire a security guard. So his prices had to be a little higher. And people were getting upset. But if I had to hire somebody to watch y'all, but he was. If I had to hire somebody to guard y'all, I wouldn't have to raise my prices.
That's crazy, man.
But it happens all over the place, man.
And them same people will talk about loving their own people. It's sad.
Ride through a community. You ride through the hood, you'll see cigarette commercials, you'll see beer commercials. The billboards. You would see the billboards, you would see all this stuff. Ride through the African American community. In North Philly, you see billboards about alcohol, vapors. You don't see that in the community. You don't see it out here. You don't see it. So even the advertising, they target a certain area, and we don't realize it.
We've been having the same conversation too. One thing we're doing it right now. I'm about to criticize us. When we talk strategy, we often do it publicly. Probably because we're not going to do it. If we the Eagles, we're going to let the Chiefs into our play, into our huddle.
So this is.
But I think
we mobilize here at 7 p.m.
But I think there's so many issues that are resolved not publicly. Just that acting, making them bear fruit is when it becomes an issue because getting people to stick together. It's like when we watched Nat Turner. When they were the revolution. He had a revolution. It would have worked, but it was a black person who snitched on him. It was a black person who went and told, so they were ready for him. They were slowly taking over. They had a plan, and they didn't tell everybody. It was somebody that was a part of them that felt like, I got to go tell Massa, and that's how they got caught. So I think that. So the issue is, I agree. we shouldn't be saying stuff in public, but it also takes a certain, you got to get united. Is when you can say, one thing of what Trump has done is, whether they agree or disagree, he united that party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they may not, whether it was fear, whatever was fear, what it was, they agree with him though. Like, now, and I'm not saying one over the other, but you flip it over to the Democrat side, they can't agree on anything.
Nothing. You can't even figure out the bathroom situation.
No matter what, they can't agree on anything, and that's a problem. So I think, there has to be some unity. It's like, you go to the barbershop, man, and they can solve the problems in the world in the barbershop. But half of them don't vote. But half of them don't even vote. They'll sit there and they say some real stuff. You ever listen to this conversation? They'll say some real stuff like, that makes sense.
No, but kudos to y'all, though. Even this family, I see y'all doing a lot of volunteer. Y'all actually put your money where your mouth is. So y'all do that. But I would say that your mindset in philanthropy is not common.
I agree.
I ain't doing it.
Yeah, so
I will do it. No, I have done it, but I don't do it as frequently as y'all do.
No, but see that I disagree with that. I think.
I'll tell you, I am doing.
But I'm thinking, but no, we can do it. We can do it different ways. You can do it whatever sphere of influence you're in. You can do
right.
It does, and you do when you have a comedy show and you help young people, African Americans get a start. It's a different way. It doesn't. So you are doing it. You may not be doing it this round, but that brother that can't get us anywhere else to get, I come wide from New York because I'm going to be heard, man, because I can't get heard in my own community.
I do put on for black communities, and I do that.
I think that's actually a good way to look at how you can help the community. It's like, man, taking whatever your strength or your passion may be and just pouring that back into.
Do what you do best.
Right, yes.
You don't have to go out and do the same thing that everybody does. Yes. Do what you do best. And you never know that one person you help may be inspired by you and start helping somebody else. Or that person may make it. So like when Tommy Too Smooth, when he got up there and talked, he didn't have to say what he said.
Yeah, sure.
But that's he could have got up there and it could have been all about him. You know what I mean? He could have made it all, but he didn't. He talked about how you were giving back and sacrifice you. So we all. It doesn't have to, and that's black people got to get past that thinking it got to be the same way. It's different ways to do it. And if you do it through jokes. I mean, Eddie Murphy told so many stories that I remember. He cursed every 5 seconds. It was funny, but he said stuff, and Richard Pryor, they said stuff that stuck with you. They were teaching you stuff. They were doing it through humor, and like Richard Pryor said, because if I stood in the corner and said that with a megaphone, they would have lynched him. But we got him on the stage through his jokes. I can say stuff. So I think you got to find your lane, and one, you got to recognize that, and everybody ain't going to agree with how you do it. That's the first thing. I don't care how you do it. It's always going to be somebody who's going to say that's not right.
Yep.
And typically it's somebody who don't do squats.
They ain't doing nothing.
Who don't do squats. Or some. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if everybody just helped one person, our community would be different. So it's not about helping 50, 60,000 people. It's doing your part. And your part is you help young comedians. When that brother drove all the way from New York to drive down here, he wasn't getting $10,000 over here. He saw an opportunity. But he saw an opportunity that he wasn't getting in his community. So I'm going to drive all the way out here to Montgomery County, to see this.
Yeah.
So it's that's your part.
Yeah. No, it's true. I didn't even consider that.
That's your part.
Because with toy drives and the book bags and stuff like that, I respect that. Like when we talk about bringing the community together, because I think we all care about it. We legit care about it.
Yeah.
Like
I've heard you talk about Crestmont.
Yeah.
But we can do it differently. Like I have a good friend of mine, Brother Strawberry Mansion. He constantly gives out food. He goes out there, he stands on the corner, man, rain, sleet, shine, whatever, and give it and ungrateful people, man. That's all y'all got. But he has a mentality for that. I can't do that. So that's his thing. So that, and he does it well, and that's okay. I think we have to accept that, that and there's so many gifts and talents. And what has always made our race special was we were used to be able to put those gifts and talents together and recognize that whether it was Harry Belafonte singing or Richard Pryor telling jokes or Sidney Poitier, that that we all played a role. We just recently got to this point where just don't do it like I do it, and now's the problem.
The competition aspect of
Look, if you can't sing or dance, you shouldn't be up there anyway. Let the people who do it were supposed to do it. But I think, as we close, the essence of the, and I do agree with you, got twisted. And to me, if they cut it, they never believed it in the first place. Because you ain't wasting any time, you just cut it. But what's the reaction is the problem. They cut it because they knew we weren't going to do anything. And I go back to the Nike story. Nike wasn't dumb. They knew if they cut Colin Kaepernick, the people who were buying the sneakers weren't going to buy them. And they knew the people who were buying them was buying the stuff. And the dude was honest. He said, yo, you buying stuff. Because he cracked a joke. He said, the dude that's on there burning his stuff, he said, we don't even make them sweatsuits anymore. So, yeah, he burned it. Yeah, he got the, he burned it.
You
But,
got the burn jersey.
but these other people out here, the people that's out there 12 o'clock midnight stand in line to get our stuff, man, the people who are workers out to go in the back to get it, they ain't buying off the clearance rack. That's the essence of Nike. Mm-hmm. And he knew it. So everybody was talking about you got to dump them and all this stuff. No, business, bro. So to your point, we have to get to the point we recognize the power we have, because then we can force, this country or people to give us equity. But they're not going to give it to us is all we do. My grandma used to always say this. As a black people, our biggest issue is we beg for what we need. And we buy what we want.
I guess we don't got the option to take it because I don't think they're ever going to give it. I really think about that, like asking the oppressor to give us our equal right.
But you know how
get out of here.
Martin Luther King had the perfect formula.
You know what I mean? They're not going to give it to us.
Martin Luther King had the perfect formula by the bus boycott. You hit them with her economics, man. If folk decide they ain't going to go to Church's Chicken or Popeyes for a month. Man, you don't think Popeyes would come around?
I think we demoralized, honestly.
But
I don't want to go too deep.
No, I agree.
After learning about Black Wall Street and what happened to that place, because that was what was happening. Like,
yeah.
Unfortunately, we not those black people.
But you know what, Justin? To your point, it was designed to do that.
Yeah,
they knew it was designed. So I do agree. I think, but at some point, so the question is, I know we got to go. That's a future show. How do you turn it around? How do you turn it around? Because it's getting worse with every generation. Like I look at our schools. And I say this, I haven't heard one politician, Democrat or Republican, talk about improving the schools in the inner city. And nobody's complaining about it.
And it's been like that for a while.
But that's my point. That was my issue with the Democrats. You never talked about that. You never talked about improving the educational system so people could have a chance. You ain't arguing about welfare or other stuff, but the core of the stuff is how do you improve the education system? How do you give them a fair shot? But you know what?
Teach them how to think.
We don't demand it. We buy PlayStations instead of computers.
It gotta be demanded.
Yeah.
You gotta be protected. Protection is a big piece of it. Yeah. They killed Dr. King. They killed Malcolm.
Yeah. Wow. They did.
That turned all them guys.
I think it's just a ton that our community needs to work on and address. I hear, making demands of kind of people. It starts with us kind of coming together. I think we do a terrible job at that.
But I think you start with the educational system. I think you have to start with the educational system because, when I was a freshman in college, a young economics teacher, man, she said this, and I never forgot it. She said, America uses a simple formula. I keep you uneducated, I keep you poor. If I keep you uneducated and I keep you poor, I maintain control because you're never going to go any further than I'll allow you to go. Because you're not going to get the resources to go any further. So it creates this vicious cycle. And the outcome of that is you get crabs in the barrel. Because who Justin think he is now? I remember Justin in high school, man. Now he out there doing comedy shows. We do that. Instead of saying, how can I support? We do that. Forget the fact that I'm not trying to go anywhere. I just want to tear everybody else down. So that has been part of the demoralized. That has been injected into and it has to change. And it starts with the education system. We got to start investing in education. And I mean education. I don't mean just academics. I mean, we got to get in there and talk about, about character integrity. You got to teach them this stuff.
The character class?
Yeah.
It helped. Honestly, it helped. It would help a lot. This is what makes you a nut.
I've had guys, and I'm gonna close on this note. I've had kids tell me they're gonna live in their mom's basement.
That's crazy.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Now, ain't that crazy? That's your goal. You're in high school. That's your goal.
Terrible. I mean, mom said you can have the basement.
But so
that's kind of crazy.
Unless somebody else comes in and introduces them to something else, that's all they know.
One more.
That's all they know. So anyway, we again.
Thank you all tuning in.
got a little solemn at the end there. We was like,
because just thinking about how like the future, and it's just like, there's so much work to do.
It's a lot of work. That's what it is. It's a lot of stones to be pushed up that hill.
Oh my goodness. Too many stones.
Too many stones.
But thank
That's
you
why
all
you got to
for
keep
tuning
pushing
in.
the stone, man.
Tuning in
Oh.
on Podbean.
It's
Tuning in on
sarcastic,
Spotify,
Mark.
Facebook.
Making
all of
fun
you.
of my
We
saying.
love you
Like,
guys.
follow, subscribe, share, comment.
That's Jesus saying.
Yes.
He took that from him.
He never said keep. You ain't gonna find that nowhere in the Bible.
Good night, everybody.
Never turn off.
Peace.
That's an original Christopher Senior song.
It is. That is. And honestly, I got it from you. But I figured you got it from the good book.
No.
That sounds like something come out of the good book.
No, it ain't in the good book.
You good from the stone?
That's right.
That's you?
That's me. That's
Oh,
all me.
man.